So we're here with the MLW World Tag Team Champions, Ross and
Still
Marshall Von Erich.
They're still World Tag Team Champions.
And still.
Yeah, this is becoming a long title reign for us now.
I know. As long as this thing goes on, we might be the longest reigning.
There was the all-time the law of the 30 days, the 30-day rule. I think you way surpassed that.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I think so. I think so. Oh man, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, true.
I think they can strip you. But, yeah.
So how are you guys?
Man, they gotta strip everybody then.
How are you guys? How are you doing in this crazy time? You know, quarantine. You know, the COVID-19. It's
we're trying to have
time.
We're trying to have a good perspective on it. You know, it's time that we get to spend with our family, and you know, it's I've gotten a lot closer to my nieces and nephews. I got to spend a lot of time with my son, and this really, and just as we got a lot of work done on the farm, and so we really have been enjoying it as much as we can. And, it would be good to get back to normal eventually, but we're trying to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And can you tell us what are your thoughts on, pro wrestling is basically the only sport that still continue to grow and at the Corona time. What are your thoughts about that? Like, how is it for you guys?
People right now, everyone's at home and maybe they're starving for entertainment, and pro wrestling is a great escape. You get to watch wrestling, and you're in a different world for a little bit. It feels like.
Yeah, I feel like when the times are kind of down, when morale is a little bit low, maybe wrestling has a good place. Like I think it is essential. It's essential. But I just wish we were doing it though.
Yeah, but can you really call it like an essential business?
Yeah, that's definitely a gray area. It just depends on your perspective for sure.
Yeah, maybe it can encourage people, but I'm sure people could, live without it. If it's dangerous to other people, doing big or having big crowds and things like that, then yes, I understand it's not essential. But it's the wrestlers are taking the guys on the independent scene are taking a pretty big hit right now because they can't work. Yeah. And so it is pretty tough unless you're with a bigger company. But yeah, we're definitely, our prayers with all the wrestlers right now and everybody, because it's rough, not just for wrestling, it's rough for everybody. A lot of people are losing their jobs.
How is the situation? Wait, how is the situation? Sorry, Adik. How is the situation in MLW? We saw that WWE released some superstars. I know that Ring of Honor is actually paying all the crew, all the wrestlers for canceled shows. How are things going on with MLW these days?
MLW is taking good care of us. They're pushing our merch. They're trying to help us sell merch because they can't do shows right now. And I know that they didn't want to do the empty arenas. They didn't want to put any of the wrestlers at risk traveling, especially because we're in Hawaii, so we have to travel all the way across the United States. So it'd be a lot of risk taking for me and my family and coming back to that. And so we're happy with how MLW is handling it, and I don't think they've released anybody yet. I think they're going to sustain until we get shows back on. But yeah, I think we've had maybe one or two shows that will be canceled.
Yeah, and and that being said, they're like you were saying, there's going to be some big time free agents. I think on the market after this whole thing. So
yes,
the landscape could change pretty soon.
More exciting.
I can definitely see the Von Erichs versus the Revival or whatever.
I give you like another option, because I saw like this past month the MLW podcast company have two guys that are doing podcasts for MLW. Do you know who are they?
Yes, yeah, Luke Gallows and
Carl Anderson.
Carl Anderson. We met him in Japan.
And they talk, they were number one on the charts, weren't they?
Yeah, of course. Like they came back with their podcast, and like, how is it for you guys? Like, do you see yourself going into a feud against Gallows and Anderson? Maybe.
Anybody who wants the gold, they gotta right now. They gotta go through us, and so if anybody wants the MLW tag team champs, we wouldn't be champions if we didn't take on all comers, and we want to put these belts on the line. That's what we want our legacy to be. Is we weren't afraid to challenge anybody.
Yeah, we want to be fighting champions. We want to defend the belts as much as possible. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys mentioned.
I think you should defend the titles in Hawaii, like the Boneyard match.
Yeah.
I think it could be really nice.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we'll have a Texas death match on the Von Erich Ranch. I think that would.
Anywhere kind of thing. Yeah.
You guys mentioned earlier the empty arena, that MLW don't want to make an empty arena shows. What is your perspective on your side for the empty arenas wrestling? Wrestling is like basically based on the fans, the crowd, the reaction with the crowd. What are your thoughts on wrestling not in front of a live crowd?
I bet it's a little more difficult because us personally, we feed off the crowd a lot, and you can see the empty arena shows. A lot of the wrestlers, after they hit a big move and they fire up, they look into nothing, and they got to go back to their match. And and so I think it's a little more competitive, and it's more of the art of wrestling, and so it's a cool change. But I would definitely stick to that. I wouldn't manipulate a crowd that's not there. So I would really just strategize my wrestling and really try to keep it classic,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they're just not used to seeing it, and so they it's just unusual for them, and so that's why a lot of people, they see it immediately and say, oh, I don't like this is weird, but it's all just familiarity, I think.
So something that draws you in is the big crowd and the chants and the and all that's what draws a lot of people into watching wrestling, and so without that, it's you got to really love wrestling.
Yeah. For me, it feels like when I watch wrestling these days, it feels like a practice match. Like
almost.
Like an exhibition.
But like you're doing a lot of moves, a lot of good moves, a lot of classic moves, and you talk a lot, and you do a lot of selling with your words.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like this from working perspective, so I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's like it might make some of the men better because they're now they have the confidence. If the crowd isn't behind them, they still have that confidence.
Yeah, and they're working for the camera rather than the crowd now, and so it's still same methodology in a way.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of independent wrestlers that work in the indies back in the days. They work with small audiences, sometimes with 10 people in the crowd, sometimes with, I don't know. So they know how to work this
bizarre situation.
Very true. Yeah. No, we've been in situations where like that before early in our career with, if it wasn't very good promoting and a really small show, and the show must go on, and so we've definitely been used to it, and we're prepared right now. If we had to go out and work, we'd be ready. But MLW does have our.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't cut the stream was stuck. Can you repeat the last answer, the last sentence?
Oh, sorry. What was that? I didn't hear you.
Okay. The last sentence, MLW is where you were cut over there.
Oh yeah, MLW.
They're taking good care of us. They have our best interests in mind and everything. So
they're keeping us safe by not letting us travel right now, and keep having our family's best interests and our best interests.
Let's dive to MLW a little bit, to your first year in MLW 2019. What do you feel? You're better wrestlers now than you used? No, I'm sorry. Are you better wrestlers now than you started in MLW?
Yeah, I think our goal is just to get better every single match, and I feel like with MLW, with you know, everything that goes on with it. I really feel like we are maturing as wrestlers, and, you know, we're growing in our craft, you know, and I feel like it's like we're in the right direction, headed in the right direction.
And now every match is a TV taping. Before it was, you know, maybe once a month or not even that, you know, with a TV taping. And so now that we're getting used to that exposure, it's we need to perform, you know, at even a higher quality. And we thought we were pushing ourselves. And so the very first MLW match was just an emotional roller coaster at first, getting to the show. The day we land, you know,
not knowing what to expect, you know, all the travel, everything. So,
but definitely it made us closer as brothers. We were, you know, it was a lot of prayers for that day. But you know, that it was on my brother's birthday. It was, and so we forgot it was his birthday. We were thinking about it so much, and then it was definitely a success for us, and we couldn't have been more happy with it.
Did you get like when you started MLW, or maybe still till this day, are you getting any help from, like, you know, veteran guys on backstage that like this thing, maybe you should do it on this promo, and maybe you should move this move in the ring? Like, do you have someone that helps you?
So everybody has been so awesome. They're as far as the locker room, like ring general, a guy would be like low key. Low key is, you know, we've been getting advice from him for years before MLW, because we met in Japan, and he's someone that we really look up to, and he's done things in his career that, you know, that you know, we thought were just awesome. We loved his early like Ring of Honor stuff with Kenta Kobashi, all that stuff, and so he was a guy we really looked up to, and he's given us great advice when we were questioning if we should go to the training camp for NXT or go try out our tryout era. And so we were really happy that he was there to kind of open our eyes a little bit. And honestly, the guy that helps us a lot too is Court Bauer, the MLW, the owner of MLW. He's you know, he's been a big blessing to our career, and he definitely sees something in us that we didn't quite see at first, and he's been a huge help. He's been a huge help, but you know, this all fell into place because of this insanely awesome podcast right here.
Yeah. We got to give credit where it's due. Yeah.
You guys
helped us out big time.
It's our pleasure, guys. It's our pleasure.
You guys are a big blessing.
It's our pleasure.
You're the first 2-time interviewers, I think so.
2 times? Oh, cool.
We're so honored.
Guys, like, you know, the last time you were on the podcast, it's like a few days after you were signed with MLW, and like, look a year forward, you guys are the MLW Tag Team Champions for quite a while.
You know, you talk about the match. Take us to the actual match, to the 6-man, to the Wild Brawl.
That first show,
your debut
show. Yeah, man, that was unreal. That was just unreal. When we got there, we didn't hang out with anybody. We were outside, and we were just to ourselves, you know, pumping each other up, praying, talking to Dad. And you know, and that was when Tom Lawler was on our side, and you know, and he was honestly a big help. He has the UFC mentality, a fighter's mentality, and so he was, you know, quiet, you know, punching himself in the face, getting pumped, and so we like that aggression. And you know, before we came out, we didn't think that anybody was going to know who we were, because we're in Milwaukee, we've never been there before, and to hear that reaction, it made chills up and down our spine. So we just exploded when we heard the crowd was behind us. We felt like we were invincible.
Yeah, I remember just feeling really like unprepared, but at the same time just knowing that, you know, we're meant to be here. Like, you know, and I don't know, it just fell right into our hands, and I feel like we had a really unique debut.
Who was the general in this match? Who built this match? Because the match was a lot of so much old school vibes came from the match, from the brawl, with the referees, with everybody's flying around.
It felt like a Texas match from like the 80s or something like that.
That was the style my my dad has been wanting us to do is, you know, a lot of wrestling nowadays, you see it's very spotty. There's a lot of called moves for assurance. And, you know, my dad has been telling us from the beginning, listen to the crowd. Go out there, don't call a match in the back. Go out there and listen to the crowd and see what happens. And it took us years to trust him. And then finally we started doing it, and we started having better and better matches. And it felt more natural. And that's what that match was. That's why you didn't see very many actual wrestling moves. It was, you know, go out there and don't look weak. Go out there and fight. And so we went out there, and it was just all instinct. And it's I think all the wrestlers were happy with it. You know, it's just different style than you're used to seeing. It's more like a bar brawl.
Yeah.
A bar fight.
And you guys finish the question.
I just wanted to say that I think I'm sure that all the workers in the back, all the guys in the back, like, came to you after the match and said, "Oh my God, what the hell was that?"
Exactly. Everybody was like,
I can tell you from our perspective, like, the minute the first time I saw the match, like, when I finished the match, I just texted Aviran about it, and he just finished to watch the match, and like, oh my God, man, that's one of the craziest matches I've seen in a long time.
It was so
that means so much, man. I would love you guys. That really was. After the match was over, we were looking at each other like, did that go good or really bad?
We had no idea. Was that like, did that go great or was that terrible? I don't know.
And then Court went over there and said,
welcome to MLW.
Yeah, welcome to MLW. and that was we just like, okay. And so it was like a movie.
Great start.
So let's say that this COVID-19 era is over finally. What are your plans are for MLW now? You're the tag team champions. You reached the mountaintop. What are you gonna do now?
What's next?
You know, we didn't know it was gonna come this soon, and so, you know, we really are. We're just going to try to, you know, stay champions as long as we can, be fighting champions, you know, and I'm sure there's going to be some roadblocks in the way with, you know, all the stuff that's going on in MLW with Filthy Squad, Contra, and all that stuff, and we'll see where it goes, but, you know.
And you know, hopefully what we want to do is hopefully try to hopefully try to, you know, defend our belts, you know, on, like, all over the world. You know, that's another one of our dreams. You know, we want to, you know, cross promotion, you know, that kind of thing. So.
Our big dream is, from the beginning, was to defend our belts in Israel. That's where we wanted to go, and that's where we wanted it to be. And so we'll see what happens. But our number one goal is to wrestle again in Israel. That's
the ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate
so
goal.
Like, let's talk hypothetically. If, like, next week, next Thursday, you have a wrestling show of MLW in Israel, you guys are the main event.
Sold out.
Yeah. Like,
I like it. I
and
like
not
it
even,
so far.
actually,
So far, so good.
Actually, you know what? Not even an MLW show, like just a wrestling show. And you have the chance to pick your opponent. Like, pick any tag team around the world that is not from MLW.
Active. Yeah.
Okay, active tag team.
What are your dream match for a tag team title?
I think a dream match for right now, active wrestlers. I think it would be Road Brothers. I think Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes.
I think so.
We like what they're doing, and they come from a lineage of wrestlers, a family of wrestling, and so I just think it would make a lot of sense. It'd be like a lot of sense if it was in an MLW ring or whatever ring it was in, but that would be my dream, for it to be in Israel, of all places.
Yeah, you know, and I think just the chemistry of two brothers, you know, wrestling two brothers, I don't know. I just feel like it needs to happen at some point. And
so I'm not going to give up on my brother. He's not going to give up on me, and I'm sure they feel the same way. So it would definitely be an exhausting, lay everything on the line kind of match, for sure. Definitely.
And like, if I'm the booker, I'm taking this match like for the first time, and the rematch is main event in Texas. You know.
Oh man,
I'm booking
I think that'd be good.
I'm booking it. I'm gonna book it. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
You run Florida and then you run Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Old school. I like that.
Territory.
Yeah.
And you guys mentioned your father, Kevin. How is he doing these days?
He's good. He's same old dad. He's now that I have my son, my dad he steals them all the time. He takes them and takes them everywhere around the property. So I never know where my son is. My dad's always got him.
Yeah. He's a great babysitter.
He's a great babysitter though, so it's good.
And before we finish, guys, do you have like one last message to the crowd in Israel, to Israel?
Man, yeah, we wanted to say to all of Israel, man, we love you guys so much. The support is just unreal.
Yeah, the support I feel like is undeserved, you know, but we're so grateful. You know, we have a special connection with all of you guys, and we just love, you know, you as a people and as a country, and totally support you guys.
We've loved Israel since the beginning, and to know they love us back, it's just words can't describe it. And we definitely think that our journey is gonna be back in Israel
somehow, some
way. The Von Erichs will be back in Israel.
We're sure about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us where can we buy this sweet merch?
Maybe you walk out with that shirt and start selling them for me. I'll send you a box.
Yeah.
So where we can find the Von Erichs merchandise?
So you can go to MLWshop.com. It has a lot of our merch, or ProWrestlingTees.com. Maybe you can go to the Von Erich shop, but those two sites, and then you of course follow us at Marshall Von Erich on Twitter, and then Ross Von Erich on Twitter, and then we share an Instagram. It's Ram Von Erich, Ross and Marshall Von Erich.
Awesome, great.
Like the Ram.
So guys, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure as usual, you know.
As always.
Yes, as always.
And we hope to see you in Israel as soon as possible.
One day, my friend.
Yeah,
we'll
one day.
Back, for sure.
Now I know that you're going to book that match. I'll see you very soon.
I'll book that match.
Yeah.
I'll book it.
You book it. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Great, guys.
You know, we get to have our dream match, and maybe you'll make some money from it. So everybody's happy.
Everybody wins.
Yeah. It's a win-win situation.
I just want to do the color commentary. I don't care.
Yeah, actually, like if this match gonna happen, we guys gonna be the color commentary. So you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One of you might have to be a special guest referee as well, though.
Yes.
But we'll give you a microphone so you can do commentary and ref at the same time.
Can I take a bump?
Yeah, of course. Your commentary you're gonna take a bump.
Oh boy.
So guys, thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure. And we will see you again.
See you soon. We love you guys.
Hey guys, as always.
You too, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
You.